All right, good evening, and good evening, everyone. Right, we are here for another in our series. Let's talk culinary, right? And I'm excited this evening, right? Because this evening, as we would have shared, we'll be looking at this is the Pro Chef edition, and this evening we'll be looking at the topic. This is just the first part because we will be diving very deep into this topic, and so we will be back on the platform to do more than one session on this. So we are looking at the professional chef, right? Title that is, in recent times has been misunderstood, misused. So we are here this evening to dissect and to make wrongs right. So I'm pretty excited. Remember to share, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you won't miss a beat when we go live. I'm not alone this evening. So on the platform, I have four beautiful professionals on the platform. I'm going to be introducing them to us individually. I will start this evening with Alison Beckett. She'll be the first on the platform. I will give you the names and I'll introduce them individually as they're ready to speak. Right. So the first individual this evening is Miss Alison Beckett. We also have two of our, I want to say, resident persons on the platform. Right. This is Jane Jerry and Chef Kennard Swaby, always here to share some good food. And joining us this evening is a colleague and friend of mine, a stalwart in the industry as well, Chef Courtney Virgo. He's also on the platform this evening to share with us on this very important topic. So as we go right in this evening again, welcome to the platform. The time is far spent, so we're going to dive right in this evening. So I'm going to share with you a little bit about our first presenter who will be speaking with us on the platform this evening, Miss Alison Beckett, right? Let me read a little bit from her bio. Pretty extensive, right? I must say. So I'm going to read a little, and then as she speaks, you will get to understand who this wonderful lady is, right? Alison Amoy Beckett, right, is a jovial, hardworking, determined, and goal-oriented person, right? She was born and raised in the Kingston 20 area, where she is a sibling of six, right? And from that time was deemed a leader at a tender age. And I do agree, she is indeed a champion leader, right? After completing primary education, her studies continue onto the St. Hugh's High Schools for Girls, all right? They go St. Hugh's, right? However, right, an interest in baking developed, and of course, being the determined person that she is, she went to the University of Technology to pursue baking technology, right? Where one of the many specialization was developed. However, the studies there not complete yet. She was guided to attend the vocational training development. All right, big up to VTDI. You guys do a wonderful job on that side of the fence, just the same, right? And there she pursued her diploma in education and training, right? She then went on to teach and practice at the Edith Dalton James High School and was even offered a job as a food and nutrition teacher. And that's expected. Expected. You're a wonderful individual, right? I give you a little bit more because I'm excited about our panels this evening, right? The opportunities don't never stop, right? As persons were interested in Alison and offer her many positions in their organization, right? However, the one that stood out to her the most was where she is right now, and that's the Boulevard Baptist Skills Training Center. Beautiful. Big up to all the Boulevard individuals on the platform and who'll be watching afterwards, right? Where she obtained position of level 2 instructor. And I like this. I'm reading all of this because it's your story in of itself. And suppose she does read, but I mean, I just have to cut in the thing. Your story in of itself is just, it's a game changer. It's just a testimony, right? Listen this here now, right? I continue. Where she obtained position of level 2 instructor and was then promoted to level 3 instructor in short order, right? She has been with institution for 15 years, right? And during this time, she was certified as an assessor, right? Where she served various institutions in Kingston, St. Andrews, St. Catherine, and the St. Thomas area. During her time as an instructor, pursue her degree in hospitality and tourism management at the University College of the Caribbean, UCC for short, right? However, another opportunity came and Alison applied for the position of project coordinator. And of course, she was successful, right? Let's continue. Since being a coordinator, she has set and maintained a high standard of the institution. In her time, she has touched, influenced, led, and driven her staff and trainees to always do their best in everything that they set their minds to do. Right? Final few words. Alison has maintained steadfast, strong, and a force to be reckoned with, right, in her journey as she continues to push on, right? Big round of applause for the lady. And so just now we understand that coming here this evening is not just word of mouth, right? We do have individuals who have walked the walk, so they are here now to talk the talk, right? Without further ado, let me just welcome you this evening. Ms. Beckett, it's a pleasure to have you on the platform with us. Please go right ahead. The floor is yours for next 10 to 15 minutes just to share, and then from there we'll continue. Over to you, Beckett.
Thank you, Mr. Chef Brown, for that excellent profile, and more can be added. So I will be presenting on what is expected of a professional chef. And I'll be using a PowerPoint screen, which you can follow me, and I'll try to be as quick as possible so that we can discuss the points surrounding it. So I'll just ask Mr. Brown to share my screen for me. Good, thank you. So persons might be able to identify some of the parts of this chef here. Because we see them on the road. We are actually looking at the top part of Chef Brown, where we see he has on his chef hat. He also has on his coat. Well, all of the chef here except myself, because I say I'm not, I'm a professional chef, but I'm at work, so we dress down in the management position. So you have on your coat, your apron, your pants, and your shoe. This is a true picture, well-dressed professional chef. But what are some of the qualities this person should have? Let's look at some of the qualities. So going to this environment, and everybody knows that a kitchen is a fast-paced world, a fast-paced area. That means they don't go in there and sit down. All professional chefs need a blend of technical skills. They need creativity flair. They need leadership abilities. They need strong work ethics. But we can talk about these more, because these are very interesting things that a professional chef should have. So let's move on. Now, so we mentioned them earlier, and I'm going to expound a little bit on them. So they need technical skills and knowledge. They need creative artistic skills. The professional chef need leadership and management skills. And they also need personal attributes. You cannot take on all of these at once. This is a learning process. As time goes by, you will increase. You're not going to go down. You're going to try to go up. So we're going to look at them one by one and see if we can expound on each other. So let's look at the technical skills and knowledge that they need. Now, when you talk about technical skills, we are looking about culinary expertise. They must have proficiency in various cooking techniques, understanding of the ingredients, know where the do's and the don'ts, the ability to execute recipe accurately. And when I say accurately, it must be a standardized recipe, something that's stay, nothing that you guess off your head. Standardized. I mean, every time a customer comes in your restaurant, your kitchen, they are getting the same product at all times. Why? Because your product is standard, never ever change. You also must be able to develop some menu development. So your ability to create your menu, and not only create your menu, but adapt it as well. And when you're doing your menu, you have to consider seasonality, because we're living in our country where products are seasonal. So you capitalize on pine when it's available. You capitalize on melon when it's available. You capitalize on June plum when it's available. But keep using our seasonal product so that people will be able to get familiar with what we grow. You should know dietary needs, because remember that person come to you from various dietary, for example, the diabetic is out there and they still want to dine. The hypertensive out there, they still want to dine. Lactose are out there, they still want to dine. All these dietary persons are out there and they are customers and they want to dine. A lot of time we hear a person say, because I'm diabetic, I don't want to eat out. No, we need to move away from that. Cater to every need. And also, once you're catering to dietary needs, sorry, you want to cater to your customer's preference. What do my customer want? Customers will come in and they want something that they prefer. I don't really like a white bread. Not because you, the chef, prefer brown bread, you're going to say, we're not buying any white bread. No. Take on things that customer prefer. Another technical skill is food safety and hygiene. Not because you're a professional chef, you're not going to adhere to food safety standard. You're going to ensure that food are prepared in a safe environment, and you maintain a clean kitchen, and you maintain an organized kitchen. You might not be the person that is going to clean it, but you're going to ensure you're going to maintain strict policies to ensure that at all times the kitchen is clean as you go. Don't clean at the end, but you try and clean as you go. So let's look at the other technical skills that we have. Ingredients knowledge. Come on. You must know the characteristics of all ingredients. You must know sourcing. Where can I get this from? Not only should you know the ingredient, but you should be able to say, all right, this store have it, that store have it, down the road have it. You know the know-how, so you can quickly pop and get it. How do you angle different ingredients? What do you keep outside? What do you keep in the refrigerator? How long do I keep our ingredients outside? These are things as professional chef, we should know. How do we handle our ingredients and have sufficient knowledge? Which ingredients go well with what? If I don't have an ingredients on spot in my storeroom, which one can I substitute? Substitution is important. Because not all the time we're going to have these ingredients available. So we have to learn how to substitute and work with it and still create a dish that customers expect to have. Equipment proficiency, comfortable and knowledgeable. So you don't wait until the morning when you're going to cook. That's the time you're taking out the mixer that you have never ever used before and trying to operate it. Take up the mixer the day before and say, all right, is it working? Is it in good order? Can I use it? Get comfortable with it. Any equipment you're going to use, make sure you're comfortable with it. You're knowledgeable about it. You might have a mixer at home. Chances are you saying it's the same one. No. Grab it from the day before, plug it in, see, check it out. Where's gear 1? Where's gear 2? Where's gear 3? Where's gear 4? Be knowledgeable of it, because at the end of the day, you don't want to, when you turn it on, that's the time you're saying to yourself, oh my, the mixer is not working. The blender is not working. This knife, I'm not comfortable. I've never used this knife before. Get yourself familiar with the equipment before you use it. So those are the technical skills, and we can elaborate more and more, but we'll take questions after. Let's look at another one, the creative side. All chefs want to show a dish that is up to standard with all the excellent garnishes. Yes, you should have that ability to develop not only creative idea, but new dishes, new techniques, so that you are pushing culinary boundaries out wide. We are not only talking about Jamaica land we love. We are looking at the entire world. Or we are on a site, YouTube, that purists might be watching all over the world. So we can't limit ourselves to Jamaica only. But try and know that we are developing new dishes and techniques that anyone walking will say, yes, I love this, I'm coming back. Also, your presentation skills, your plating techniques. How do you keep your plate? Do you have spills? Do you look at it and say, yes, it looked like a picture frame with a beautiful picture inside with visual appeal that we'll want to eat. If you take up a picture frame of yourself and you look at it and say, wow, it's so pretty. That's what you want when you look at a dish. A nice plating, just like a picture frame. What about taste and flavor profile? Mm. Do not want to have chefs out there cooking meals and saying, I don't have a clue what it tastes like. Yes, you must taste. But you want something that have a balance and flavor. When I say balance, I mean the color must vary. The taste must vary. So you don't want everything to be on the salt side, because we don't want that. We want to have a little spice, touch us, not a full salt, proper salt, bittersweet, everything coming together to give us one balance flavor. So balancing flavor, balancing color, balancing taste. We want the balance to go right across. So we want a good flavor and taste profile of the dish. What else do we have under creativity? All right, so creativity covers that aspect of it. So what about leadership? You're the leader. Once you're there in the kitchen as a chef, the professional chef, you're a leader. So you should be able to lead your team, motivate them. Whatever they do, don't shun them. Well done. But improvement can be made. Because guess what? We are living in an era where we should be able to take criticism. And we talk about that later on. Once you're doing culinary and you're a professional chef, you should be able to take criticism. So motivate a worker. Don't just motivate them, but guide them, supervise them. And within that area where you're supervising them, try and build an environment with positive and productivity. Because anywhere you have positive attitude, production can be good. Teamwork, each one help one and we become one. So once you're in the environment, you're going to try to motivate your workers, guide them through, supervise them so that they can move on and have a positive attitude towards your work. Communication skills, and this is something that not only in the kitchen, but anywhere. We want to have a clear and effective communication with staff. And we can communicate in several ways. So we can use word of mouth, we can use email, and now WhatsApp is becoming the prominent one. WhatsApp your staff, let them know what is on for tomorrow. What do we have plans to do? Talk to them, brief them before and after. What we plan to do today when you come in, and then when it finish, when the day finish, good work, workers. One, I was pleased with you for this, I was pleased with you for that. And what do you think will happen? They're coming back tomorrow saying, boy, I like our chef. Tell me that it was a good job today. So I'm going tomorrow again to do another positive job. And that's a means of motivation. Don't allow your workers to leave work and you don't commend them for a job well done. Because once they leave with the job well done, they are coming back tomorrow to work on it again. Because people like motivation. What about time management? We need to be on time. Because people are not going to wait and you say, give me 2 minutes for the lunch to ready. No, people spending money. So they want their food to be ready on time. So you must manage your time, manage your tasks, because you're in a kitchen that is moving fast. So you have to set a pace. Better you're very early than late, so that you can find time to relax and move forward. Because when you're late, you tend to be a little bit nervous. You tend to be a little bit shaky. You tend to be a little bit unorganized. But reaching time so that you can have your time settled so you can move on. Let's just look at some more leadership and time management skills. Problem solving. We always have problems. But how do we solve them? So when you see a problem arise, you as the professional chef should be quick to identify it and resolve that issue and stop it right there. We're not going to move on to the next day with it. We're going to stop it right there because we don't want the furlong. We're going to keep it going. You also need to have an organized and planned workspace. And in order for your workspace to be organized, it has to be clean. It has to be clean. So let's take a little step back. You're scheduled to start working at 3 o'clock. You can't reach work 3 o'clock. You have to reach before 3 so that you can organize your workspace, plan your workspace, and get ready to start. That's what organizing is. You can't just say 3 o'clock, I'm scheduled to work. I'm going to reach at 3 o'clock. No, I'm going to reach before 3 o'clock so that I can start and have myself ready. Adaptability. You must be flexible because we're living in a changing world. Anything can change. So you can come to work today and them said, you know that the banquet that we have for this evening, they're moving from vegetable rice. They're going to callaloo rice. No, we're not going to say, all right, then, look here, man. No, quickly. Where is the callaloo? We can get it. Move on and start doing what we have to do. You must be able to adapt. That's a concept that we all need to work on as professional chef. But there's another. Sorry. Personal attributes. Passion for food. We must love food. Genuine love for cooking. Must have a desire to create exceptional culinary experience. We must have that passion. When we're doing it, we must be pleased. We must show the love in the food. And once love is there, we're going to get quality food. What about work ethics? You must be dedicated. We know sometimes we feel a little sick and we feel a little down, but we're going to put that behind. And I always tell my trainees, once you're going to do a function, just shut your eye outside and say, God, give me the strength and the courage to go through. I put you before me in all I do. Dedicate yourself. You must have that ethic. So God give you the strength, you come with the rest of it. You must be able to work under pressure no matter what. Do it, because at the end of the 8-hour shift or the 9-hour shift or the 12-hour shift, afterwards it's yours and you just get a chance to rest. You must pay attention to detail, must pick up everything very quickly. Focus on quality, precision. You want to make sure that whatever comes out, that is what you sell. It's just like a recommendation. Just like a recommendation. Anything you put out there, they're going to say, yes, it's coming from the chef. So we're coming back for it because this is what we want to have over. And the only way you can get quality is if you start with your standard things. Standardized recipe, always using that recipe at all time once it produces a good quality. Well, what about our attitude? Positive one. Despite under pressure, you're not going to curse. Despite under pressure, you're going to have a professional attitude because at the end of the day, you still carry the word behind your name, professional. You're not just a chef, you're a professional chef. So no matter what pressure you're under, you're not going to say anything that is wrong. You're going to try and ensure that whatever you do, you maintain that title behind your name. You know, so the doctor always keep his name, I'm the doc. Yes, you're going to keep that name behind your title. I am the professional chef. What next would we look at? Teamwork. When you come to the kitchen, you're coming to a family, a home. The kitchen is your next home. So we're our family and we're going to love and try to live together. So you have to collaborate with each other. You might not be the front of the house, but you are going to project something that when it reaches the front, they say, yes, some good work is at the back. Why? Because of togetherness, you always produce good. So we have to have good teamwork. But guess what? We must be humble. We must be humble, willing to learn, accept not just criticism, but constructive criticism. Somebody said to you, you know, I think you should have used mint instead of parsley. Fine, good. And you fix it. Don't start create a block. No, I am the man in charge. No. Remember, you're open to learning. You're open to criticism because you're accepting criticism that is constructive, that can build you. and you will never change from it. And finally, and I put this word stamina because we need it, because chef work long hours. So you come to work and it's an 8-hour shift, you need the stamina. Because chef, another, probably the executive say, chef, you have to work another 2 hours or 3 hours, because somebody is not coming in. Yes, we have that. But come with the stamina, preparing to work. We're not coming with the stamina to say, 4 o'clock, where is it? 5 o'clock, where is it? No, we're coming with that stamina to work some irregular hours. We're coming with that stamina, not just hours, but it's your day off. And they call you. Yes, I'm coming out, chef. I will be there. Give me a minute or two, I'm coming. That means you're not going to say it's your day off and you don't have a jacket put down. You have a jacket prepared in case you call. You can just reach out for the jacket and move to work. You must have a stamina to work, not just long hours, but irregular hours, because you have the title as the professional chef. So once you display these qualities, you can keep the name. It's yours, the professional chef. Thank you. Any question?
Oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man. Boy, I mean, I was sitting here, Miss Beckett, and I'm all smiles. I am all smiles because you covered so much, and the reality is that we're gonna dissect the PowerPoint that you did just now. I know if you have more time, you would, I mean, dive into all of those. So here what happened, we will have the time. We're gonna be having a discussion and all of what you would have looked at just now, right? Because you really hit the nail on the head as to what it means in terms of building the character of a chef. So what I'm going to do here and now is what you would have shared as we know the questions are going to come. So please go ahead and share your questions. I'm watching the chat, right? For those who are watching us online on the stream, you can go ahead and share your questions, and I will be asking the questions to my panelists this evening, right? So what I want to do at this point in time, with all of what you would have shared now, Ms. Beckett, I'm going to bring in Chef Virgo at this point in time, right? I give Chef Virgo a go over Chef Sway because Chef Sway, we have been on this platform so many times. He's a resident panelist on this platform. So I'm going to bring in Chef Virgo at this moment in time. And Chef, in a direct way, I want you to just relate to some of what Ms. Beckett would have shared from both ends in terms of positives, in terms of negatives. What have been your experience over the year? And let me just share a little bit. Chef Virgo is my colleague, my friend, mother, right? He's presently the executive chef, right, at the ROK Hotel. Chef Virgo, if I may say, just recently, came back on the rock, coming all the way from out there in Dubai. So the man is no stranger to the industry, right? My colleague, we studied together in doing the pro chef course. So I know the man, I know what he stands for. That's why he's here this evening. So his words can be trusted. And when he starts to speak and articulate, you will see for yourself. But I don't like to speak for the man, right? I'm going to allow the chef to come now and speak for himself. So Chef Virgo, the floor is yours, my brother. Go right ahead and share. Talk to us.
Yes, Chef. Good evening, everyone. It's an honor to be here. Miss Beckett, of course, you touched, basically, most of the aspects of a professional chef himself. But there are a few things that I see that I want to talk about. But let me just start first with one thing that pops out to me. Other than the obvious things, I am going to look at, you mentioned motivation. And as professional chefs on our team, we motivating our staff is one of our responsibilities, of course. Not everyone is self-motivated, right? So I want to look at one thing that I wanted you to expound on. However, I'm going to highlight it now. Recognition, staff recognition in terms of appreciation. That is something that has gone a lot of times unseen, unidentified. However, I realize that most persons say most of the staff at times they really work hard, but not everybody can get like a recognition to be the staff of the month, staff of the year, whatever criteria you guys have at your establishment. But I think it's very important to recognize individuals. You have some individuals there that maybe not the top person, but they have some strengths and they need recognition. So she mentioned something to say, yo, how you go about motivating staff. A simple thank you sometimes. Job well done, as she had mentioned. But also, at the end of the day or a period to say, you have to show appreciation. So do your one-on-ones, pull them out of service sometimes and say, I've seen you, you've been working. Great job. You know, not everybody gonna be, as I mentioned earlier, chef of the month or the employee of the month, but persons there need recognition. Unsung heroes is one of the things we need to look at. So it's good to highlight this. I'm open for you guys to actually expound on it also. All right. As it relates to technical skills, Ms. Beckett, you have mentioned standardization, which is very important. And as professional chefs, we are trained with the eye, the knowledge itself to go about ensuring quality consistency on a daily basis. So some of the things that a professional chef would do, you will see him walking around tasting everything. You mentioned tasting is very important. So what you're trying to do is to catch these things before they go to the customer, right? If there are any mistakes, what if they're a substandard? What if the ingredient change and it's not at the standard? So you will see the professional chef going around tasting sauces, stews, different products on a daily basis, just to ensure that these things are guaranteed. So that's one other thing I want to talk about. Also, when she mentioned personal attributes, passion for food.
Yeah. Come on, man. That's big.
Passion for food. Not everybody was born with a passion, but it can be developed. And one of the things I realized with chefs, most professional chefs, they try to guide the young individuals into that aspect of the profession itself. Instead of them coming to work and just wanting to cook, let them understand the dynamics itself. Understand that it's more than just cooking. It's about aspirations. It's about different goals. It's about you as an individual, you as a brand, you as a professional who is actually business. So as a chef, you're part of the business. Naturally, you're a part of the business. You are the face. So whatever you do, you have to represent. All right. So that's that from me for now in a nutshell, and I'll pass on back to you.
Thank you, Chef. So I'm making notation here while you're sharing, and I want to ask you a few questions, and this now, Ms. Beckett, you can also chime in on this. How important is it, right? Let me pull up my text here so I can my notepad before me. Chef, how important is it like for you now as an executive chef, right? Managing an operation where you have so many staff at so many different levels in terms of the rank in the brigade. How important is motivation for a chef, not necessarily for you, but as a chef who is at a certain level? Once you say, let's look from sous chef going up, how important is it that the chef understand how to motivate his or her staff?
All right. So first, I mean, good question. Good question. So the first thing you look at your team. the human asset per se, right?
Mhm.
Humans assets, right? Um, they are they are the driving force behind the operation itself, and without them, it cannot work. So even if you have numbers, it will you will not get the same productivity if you have a team that is demoralized.
Yeah.
So for me, I think it's very important that each individual understands that they are appreciated. Once they got that feeling that they're appreciated, then there comes the motivation to push. And you as the manager, the leader per se, you have to have an eye for detail to see when a staff is down out of his norm, right? And know that okay, this is time to attend to that, and you find ways how to. So a lot of persons think that money and increased salary
Mhm.
is the only
Yes.
means of motivation. But trust me, as Miss Beckett said, I thank you, a great job well done. You know,
Come on now.
these things. Right. Also, one of the things that also works, even though you as head chef or sous chef, one of the things I realize that works is when Miss Beckett also identified this. It's collaborative effort. Both you and your team work together. Sometimes the guy will just get involved, you know, lead from front. You get me? Get involved, whatever the production is, whatever the task is, you have to take a part of it. And nothing motivates staff like that. Trust me, when you see the head of department, right, beside them working towards that vision, working towards that goal, and at the end of the day, everybody share the success. So yeah, it's very important
Beautiful.
to identify the needs, how to motivate staff, when to motivate staff, and develop that level of um, that skill per se, or the ability per se to say, okay, yeah, what I can identify are the when staff actually, need that level of motivation.
Yeah. And I thank you for that, Chef, because, I'm going to ask you a follow-up question. So we know
Right.
it's important, for us to motivate. And I was deliberate in asking the question in that context. Now, here is the follow-up. Do you believe, and I'm going to bring Ms. Beckett in on this as well. Do you believe that there is a lacking now for chefs, right? Or persons who say they are chefs, understanding the importance of motivating their staff and being effective in motivating their staff? Do you think there's a lack in the industry now, chef, based on your experience?
Yes. Um,
Yeah.
as I said, as I mentioned earlier, we're not here to bash anyone, right?
But
But we want to be
we
keeping
speak frank, we speak frank
strictly
enough.
professional, strictly
Yeah.
professional. When when chefs lack training per se, lack the proper training and the development, and I said that to say the profession is not just about okay if you can cook or how innovative you are, right? Today, it's a process.
Yes.
Yeah, you don't just get up and say, okay, I'm a chef. Oh, I wear the uniform. I look the part. I run an operation. I can run an operation. That's not just it. It takes years of experience, right? It comes with age also. Thomas Keller. Thomas Keller,
Come
one
on.
of the renowned chefs. Yes, mentioned that. It
Mhm.
comes with age,
Come on.
experience. It comes with
You're going
experience.
to launch it.
You're not gonna
Talk
figure
now.
it out.
Talk
You're not
about it.
gonna figure it out one time. You know, you have to go through it, the processes, and then you can understand that okay, yeah, what this is. You learn as you go along. So even today, even us as executive chefs, right, still learn every day by observation, sticking to trends. You know, doing the research, daily research. You know, interactions, social interactions. These little things educate you every day, and this is how you grasp some of that kind of knowledge and skill. So you can apply those things in the workplace, right?
Beautiful, chef. Well said. Well said. I'm gonna ask one question. I'm looking in the chat. All right, not seeing any questions just yet, right? But I'm gonna ask a question now, Miss Beckett, to you, and then I'm gonna bring in Miss Jerry on the platform. A question to you, Miss Beckett. Do you find that for now, some of the trainees and that you encounter from time to time, how is it with how willing are they to stay the course, especially now we're living in a fast-paced world? Chef mentioned just now that it takes time to really get to that level. Do you find that there are individuals who just want to get into the program and within 2-3 years they're saying, yes, I'm there, give me the tall hat? Miss Beckett, the floor is yours.
Yes, yes, we do have trainees like that come in the program. They want a fast, quick way out. So they will come for the level 2, and in no time they say, Miss, I'm ready. Miss, I'm ready to go there. And I keep on saying to them, no, culinary is a process and it takes time.
Beautiful.
And there are many hiccups that you will have that we have to try and mend them. So make your hiccups. I always say to them, make your hiccups here. This is your training ground and you're going to rise from here. Take it slow, because sometimes when you're on a rush too much, things can happen that can pull you back down. So I always recommend to them. They always say, Miss, I want to go into the hotel. And I said, no, take it slowly. So what we do, we analyze them at the beginning. Because what we do, we have functions here, internal functions, weddings, banquets, repasts, and we use them. And when we use them, we don't just use them to pay them, but we use them and watch them and say, how do you perform? And then they're gonna say, here what? I'm not going to start you at a hotel. I'm going to start you at another ground. And I'm going to observe you as you go through. And when I observed, then I said, Miss, I was there and I worked. I said, I said, all right, then next step. And then they keep on moving on. And at sometimes during the program, they will come and, or at the end, they will come back and they will say, Miss, I was glad for the growth. I'm glad I was humble and I take my little step up. So it do happens at times, especially when they just come in and they give them the uniform. I think the uniform is a standard say, I am ready. Because when they put on uniform for the first time, and probably put on social media, and somebody sees, I say, wow, that's the chef. I'm ready now, I am. Especially if they create a dish. And sometimes after they go competition and come back, Miss, I am the chef now. I'm ready. I'm ready. I said, take a little time. It's a learning process. So we do have that example sometimes.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. Well said. Oh man, I mean, these questions have been answered in such a way where nothing is left undone. I was intentionally asking that question. I love the way how you responded, because we have a responsibility, right, to help our culinarians who are coming in the industry to understand that, look, it's a process. One can only understand and think and act based on the knowledge that they presently possess. And so I'm glad the way you responded just now, that over time, when they realize that, look, I'm not there as yet, then they will come back now and they say, right, I'm going to take my time. I really want to, again, I'm doing an awesome job on that side of the fence. I want to bring Miss Jerry in now from a different standpoint, and viewers will understand this evening that we have a very diverse panel on the platform, and it's intentional. Now, Mrs. Jane Jerry, let me read her bio, and then I'm going to say a word or two, and I'm going to bring her in on the platform with a few direct questions. Chef Swaby is still there, hanging on, because we're bringing him in a little while as well. Let me see if I can find, spirit me a minute, I have quite a few bios here on my screen. All right, here we go. I found it. I have found it. All right. This Jane Jerry, right? The passionate about culinary arts. Let me tell you, man, Miss Jerry is all food, right? And not just food. She's very good. When you talk about the traditional Jamaican stuff, that is Miss Jerry. Oh man, I'm not supposed to break when I'm reading bios, but I get so excited. Let me go again. This is Jane Jerry, right? Passionate about culinary and is always stepping outside of the box, right? To bring new and creative ways to utilize our local produce, right? She holds a Bachelor of Business Administration minor in Culinary Arts from Delhi State University of Technology in New York, right? Her education path saw her through Sam Sharp Teachers College, Montego Bay Community College, Sam Sharp Teachers College, Western Hospitality Institute, Delhi State University of Technology in New York, right? Liaison College in Canada, right? She also did short courses in with Mine, right? Occasion Catering, Higher Age Company, Food Hygiene Bureau, and the Jamaica Fire Brigade, where she gained certified as a fire warden. This is a good thing to have for everyone who's listening. It's good to be a fire warden, all right? Yeah, good stuff, right? She has taught food and nutrition for, listen to this, for 24 years, right? Moderate CSEC practical examination and adjudicator for JCDC Culinary Arts Competition for 13 years, right? Catch it? Not a success story. Not a success story. Before joining the JCDC as the Culinary Arts Development Specialist. So moving through the ranks from teaching, being an adjudicator, now she sits in that highest seat on the land as relates to culinary art. Commendation to you, Mrs. Jerry, right? The last part says she's a child of and believes in giving of her best to humanity. And I can tell you that's exactly what she continues to do, right? So, Ms. Jerry, no stranger to the platform. I mean, we have been, all over the island so many times representing JCDC. Love you so much. You're just such a humble human being. So this is where I want you to speak now this evening, Mrs. Jerry. From the culinary arts standpoint, where it relates to the competition, I know over the years you get persons from different category in terms of high school, culinarians, upcoming chefs. What has been your experience in working with these individuals who come to the competition? Do you find sometimes that persons come to the competition and they will say they're at a particular level, but the dish in which they're presenting and what they would have done is not matching up to that particular level? First question, the floor is yours. Right, Ms. Terry, I know she's here. Saw her just now. I'm not sure. Her video is open, her microphone is open, but I'm just not seeing her. Ms. Jerry, are you there? All right. Not seeing Miss Jerry. So what we'll do, I'm going to come right back to Miss Jerry, right? But we will continue until her technical side of stuff is figured out, right? We have enough person on the platform. I'm going to go right ahead to Chef Swabe, and I'm going to come back to Miss Jerry with the very same question that I would have asked her just now, right? So I'm going to bring in now another friend and colleague and brother of mine, Chef Kennard Swabe. Chef, you want to go right ahead and open your video and your microphone, right? Let me introduce Chef Swabe. Yeah, because this evening I want to introduce you all properly to the platform, right? So I'm going to let me find this gentleman's bio just the same and share. All right, give me 1 second, Chef. Right, you need no introduction, but I'm still gonna share. Yeah, man, this gentleman bio is huge, but I'm gonna see how best I can summarize it for you. Chef Kennard Swabe, right? His first recollection of cooking is when he was just 8 years old, right? He would help his mother to try out recipe from her cookbook, and together they would for their neighbor in St. Elizabeth, right? And have a company chef sometime down the side, good stuff, right? His culinary interest was further nurtured at the St. Elizabeth Technical High School by his teacher, Miss Carpenter, right? And until his graduation in 1992, he was a leading member of the school's culinary team. His first job as a cook was at a beach restaurant in Negril, From there, he has moved to the Kitchen and Footprints Hotel, right? Kennard's immediate goal was to find a position in an all-inclusive hotel, right? And he realized that more training was needed to achieve this. To this end, he entered the Runaway Bay Heart Academy to hone his skill. Big up Runaway Bay. That is doing wonderful stuff down that side, right? One of our homes. So after a year of training, he gained employment as a line cook at Extabi Resort. So he moved through the ranks to become head chef, showed the real gift for his discipline, right? So in 98, Chef Swaby moved to Sweptaway Hotel, where he understudied the executive chef, Frank Sham. You know, I can pronounce these words, these names real well because Chef has shared these stories with me, right? Who
Right.
guided and cultivated his talent, right? Johnson and Wales and Georgetown Culinary School were made available to him. With the intense on-the-job training, he was soon made the sous chef, right? And I'm just going to anchor here now to tell you there's so much more in this, but in the interest of time, I'm going to cut it short for this evening. Chef Swaby is now the executive chef at the Terra Nova All Suite Hotel, right? He is a culinary educator. He's an adjudicator for JCDC. He wears so many hats. Chef, it's always a privilege to have you on this platform to share the knowledge. It is said that, you know, the gray hairs represent wisdom, and you stay true to that form,
Right.
sir. All right. So, Chef, this evening, and this is where I want to ask you your first question. You are one of the persons who, when it comes to elevating young minds and the culinarians, you're a stalwart for doing that. I want you just to share a little with us this evening. This Beckett is here. I mean, you have taken so many of her trainees, you know, from Boysons and other institutions. You have taken them all. You have taken them all. What has been your experience over the years, Chef, in working with some of these trainees and even chefs who comes in and say that they're at a certain level? Do you find that there is a need for Miss Beckett shared, and I'm pulling a lot from her presentation. Miss Beckett shared about the importance of humility. Do you find that there is need for more humility, chef? Looking back at all the trainees and the chefs that you have worked with over the years, do you find that there is a need for more humility as our culinarians and our chef grow? That's the first question. Right ahead.
All right. Again, I must say good evening. And it's a pleasure for me to be on this platform once more. But before I go into the question, Mr. Brown, I just want to say I'm a living testimony as to what Miss Beckett would have alluded to earlier as it relates to us um, become a professional chef. Because my belief is for one to become a professional chef, they first have to understand the basic. And one way to understand the basic is to go from the level that Miss Beckett would have been talking about earlier. And of course, that is where we want to start. Because yes, it's different levels. I know when Miss Beckett go back into her additional speech, she maybe will touch on the different levels that one would start and move up the ranks. Because of course, to become professional, you have one of the things you have to be certified, and one way to be certified is to go through first the level that Miss Beckett was talking about earlier. All right, as it relates to the question that you asked, of course, the avenue that we provide are the medium that we provide as it relates to the workplace itself. Is something that I always encourage, not just uh, us as hotel, but even the regular restaurants as well. Because without these avenues, sometimes these trainees don't get a chance to really fulfill their dream. And one way for them to fulfill the dream is to come into the workplace, of course, and see what is happening in the workplace. Sometimes that's the chance they really get to find out if this is the field they want to be in. Because as I was saying to you yesterday, Mr. Brown, maybe in a previous podcast we had, this chef role is not made to be easy. It's a very, very tough field. So anybody who want to come into this field and think it's an easy role, is I would encourage them to maybe think otherwise, or maybe choose another career. It's not really meant to be easy. You mentioned about how the trainees that we get in our institution, how are they as it relates to their level of humbleness and also crave for knowledge. Yeah, at times, that is where reality hits, as Miss Beckett would have mentioned earlier as well, is when they come into the workplace and see how tough it is, and also the hours and standing on their feet. That's when the reality really hits a lot of time. Of course, we are there to always guide them, and that's what we do. That's part of what we do too as well. You mentioned that we, myself and the team that I have, we work along with a lot of youngsters from, I would say, all around Kingston and St. Catherine area. And of course, we are more than willing to always train them and educate them as much as we can.
Beautiful. And Chef, we have been intentional with the questions because the reality is that what we're discussing here this evening is it's a topic that needs to be discussed and need to be had, right? So I'm glad that you shared and you pull back. Even again, we're pulling back a lot, Ms. Beckett, from what you would have shared because you really set the platform with the presentation. You covered so many pointers there, and so we want to dissect quite a few of those pointers. So yes, Chef, and this is why I asked you the question because even in my career over the years, I've realized that I've come upon not just trainees. It's not about just trainees, but a lot of aspiring chefs who they have, and I would say this on the platform because we're speaking in love. They have not attained to the level that they should have attained in terms of a certain time frame because of the lack of humility and the willingness to be guided,
Right.
and these are the kind of things that Miss Beckett shared. She shared so many pointers that to be a chef, you have to be at that level where you're humble, you can be guided, you have to learn how to lead. I mean, how are you going to learn how to lead if you don't want to be led?
Right.
It's almost impossible, right? That's Christ centered. We speak quite a bit about the scriptures and the Bible. We say, servant leadership is, what we embodies. And so I've found even in my career, as I asked you that question in that way, that there's so many persons I know of chefs even now who should be way ahead of, where they're at in terms of years. But again, because they're willing to take the guidance. And if you're going to be a chef at a certain level, then you should be willing to take the guidance. Now, if you're starting out, as you made mention just now, then it's a little different because you're just starting out, so knowledge is not there as yet. But as you grow, then you should be able to listen more. I'm going to share in a little while, you made mention of the ranking system. So in a little while, I have that PowerPoint to share. So we're going to be looking at that as well to see where we start from the coming all the way up, how the brigade was invented and a few things. But Ms. Jerry is back with us, and I want Ms. Jerry to touch on her question that I would have asked earlier. Again, Ms. Jerry, I'm just going to touch about the question for you. What has been your experience? Your question is more so from the culinary arts standpoint and the competition. What have been your experience over the years in working with both the competitors at different level, who enter the competition, and at times they will prepare a particular dish and the dish is not matching up with the ranking level or the level where the person would say they are at, and how receptive are they when the adjudicators now will come and try to give good counsel and good direction. Mr. Right ahead. I'm not hearing you, Oh man, let me see. Still not hearing you, Miss Jerry. Her microphone is open and her video is open, but I'm not hearing Miss Jerry.
Hello.
Yes, I'm going to see if I can fix this for Miss Jerry. All right. In the meantime, while I try to rectify stuff on the back end with Miss Jerry, I'm going to pose another question to you, Chef, that I would want you to share on. We made mention earlier of the importance of starting from the ground up. Reading your bio just now, you did just that. Chef, I want just take a minute or two and just to share with us how it has been for you. Started out in the industry, your bio, so you started out from 8. Just a lot of us, would have just found that love cooking with our parents, in the kitchen, and from there you run away bay until you found yourself in the first kitchen where you were working. Just share for somebody who's on the platform this evening who needs an encouragement. They might be going through a rough patch, say, boy, I can't make it. You're now the executive chef of one of the best hotels here in Kingston. Just share for a minute to encourage somebody who needs such an encouragement this evening, Chef. Not to give up, just by sharing a bit from your journey. Go right ahead. Well,
all right.
Sister, the floor is yours, Chef.
As you have said earlier, I started out from a tender age, of course, but never thought of being a chef, really. But what would have driven me, my mom, she loves to bake, and whenever she bakes, she share with almost everybody in the community. We had this cookbook that we take stuff and we try it each time. I can remember even our first oven stove. I'm the one who would have inspired her to buy that stove. But nevertheless, as it relates to encouraging persons who might be struggling or might feel like they want to give up. First is to have a dream, of course. I had a dream, and then after that, then develop the right attitude, because attitude is what determines the altitude. So uh, having the right attitude, meaning that it comes with a level of humbleness, a level of wanting to learn and wanting to go forward. So that is what I had, and that is what I used to drive me along the way. And also, I always tell persons, just choose the right company, because most of the time, it's just like anywhere else, you have the good, the bad, and the indifferent. But most of the time, some persons who doesn't move up the ranks, most time they tend to choose the indifferent or the bad. But in my case, I always, even my bio, it will say I understudy the executive chef, So I used to work very close with the executive chefs in each establishment. And at the time is they would see that in me too as well. So even me, Frank Sham that I mentioned earlier, during his spare time, when he have like a low time, he will call me outside and the outer part of the range, and he will teach me different things. And I'm one of the maybe the third young person he will do these things to. So naturally, these are he sees certain quality in us. So of course, to have the right attitude is always the winning
So winning
piece
formula.
of a winning formula, right, Mr.
Beautiful.
Brown?
Yes. So technically, chef, he would have been a mentor coach to you, coming into the industry. And
Mm.
we all need to have, that form of mentor and coach. There's a question. Mr. Are you there now?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me now?
All right. Beautiful, loud and clear. There's a question in the chat for you, Chef Swaby. Let me just pose the question and then I'll go over to Miss Jerry. It's from Tyreek, right? So the question is, how do you keep your staff motivated, right? What are some of the ways to help to keep the team motivated? So that's a question for you, Chef Swaby. Go right ahead and share.
Um, one of the ways to keep staff motivated, and for me, I always try to promote staff, within within the rank, within
Individual.
the space that we are in. Uh, One way, as my colleague would have suggested earlier,
Mhm,
he did mention that a lot of persons is have to believe that to increase one's salary
mhm.
is always a way of motivation. But it also involve you just pat a person on the back, you tell
Yeah,
them, thanks. And you work very, as a chef, I work very close with them as well. So whenever you rub shoulder, you you know you you're working with them and come up with the end product. So but everybody feel as if they win together.
beautiful.
So that is one way. And there's other ways that and just to talk with them, go down to their level a lot of the time and
Right.
reason with them. You know,
That's it.
and that's for me that I think it works a lot,
Yeah.
and that's one way I used to, maybe more than one ways I used to motivate my staff, right?
Yeah, beautiful, Chef. Thank you. That's one of the key things you mentioned just now, to let persons feel appreciated. Um, when a team member feel appreciated, you get so much more. I learned that when I was working on board the Disney cruise line. Disney have a way of making you feel so a part of the company that even though you're doing 12, 14-hour shifts, man, it doesn't matter because you feel so a part of, well, for me, right, personally, I can say, I feel so a part of the company. They would do so much for us to encourage us. I mean, you would, yeah, yeah. So that's something powerful, Chef. Thank you. I'm going to bring in Miss Jerry at this moment in time. Miss Jerry, should I repeat the question or you would just go ahead and respond?
I'll just go ahead.
Okay, go right
All
ahead.
right. All right. Yes. As was mentioned earlier, the process keep coming up. Now, for the culinary arts competition, I see where a number of persons would come and they come expecting to get a gold. In spite of their work, is not up to the gold mark. They want a gold, and they would um, question and they would want to ask the adjudicators. But I spend so much time and, you know, but the judges will point out based on what we are looking at. They're looking at what they see. And, they would point out to them that, I think, if you would have done this or this is how you should serve it, or maybe your serving dish is inappropriate. Those things, because they already preconceive in their mind that, yes, I am going to win and I'm taking everything. So I'm happy that we're having this sort of discussion, because even with the nice skills, I see where a number of persons do come to the competition. They think they can do the nice skill. If they get a silver or a gold, they feel that they have it. They know it all. But then there's always room for improvement. And that is what we want competitors to understand, that, they should be very humble. And where there is room for improvement, they go and they practice. And as I would always say at the workshops, they need to practice, 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 because the only way they can get it, if they keep practicing and they hone their skill, they hone their craft. So when Chef Swaby would have seen them, or yourself would see them at the competition, they would say, yes, I want that particular competitor to work with me, because I know Chef Swaby have somebody who has been at the competition. He's now working there with him. And I know that other chefs would be looking on to see bright minds, because the ground is there for them to move forward. But they need to be humble. And humility is what, persons need to understand, that when they do come to these competitions, they have to be humble and listen to the judges and take it one step at a time.
Beautiful stuff. Thank you. As I said, that's why we're here, fellow colleagues and those who are watching live. We're not here to put on a show. We're not here because we want persons to feel bad or to feel good. It's about looking at the reality that is before us, right? And as I said, we're being very intentional. The questions that are being asked, and if we're listening to the responses, these are actually the reality that is before us, right? But we want to bring them out so that we, as was shared earlier, it's lifelong learning, right? We're always learning. Culinary is bigger than us, right? And I want to bring in back Ms. Beckett and Chef Virgo, right? Culinary is bigger than us. It continues to evolve. It continues to change. There's always something new coming, and so we have to stay in the know, right? So we cannot believe that because, as you had said, Ms. Jerry, I've mastered this area, or I'm competent in this area, then, I've reached the top. When you look at culinary, let me just quickly share this brigade, and then I'm going to bring in Chef Virgo and Ms. Beckett on this one as we seek to wrap up in a little while, right? Let me see if I can find my screen here. We can share on this one together, colleagues. I'm just going to see if I can find this. Give me a second there. Which one I'm looking for? This one. All right, so I'm sharing screen. Yeah, I'm going to start with. All right, so I'm going to share this one right here. This one's a little shorter, so I rather to use this one, which is a classic one. All right. When we look at the kitchen is managed by a brigade, and again, we're here to discuss and look at the professional chef. Ms. Beckett earlier would have outlined, and she laid the platform, unequivocally in a way that cannot be missed. Now, let's look at the ranking system, and this is very important here now. I want everyone who is online, right, who's looking just to focus for this evening, right, and for those who will be watching this video afterwards, don't miss this section. Now, we start here locally with, and Ms. Beckett, you can just speak while I'm speaking. It's okay. This is where we all collected together is going to speak, right? We start locally at this level, the commis chef, correct?
Correct.
Correct. Beautiful.
We normally start at the commis chef.
We normally start at the commis level, right?
So they come in to be trained as the commis chef. So that's the level 2.
I love the way you put that. You're hearing?
Yeah.
They come in
to be trained.
as becoming chefs.
You're
Beautiful.
not you're at your first day, you're not the chef. You're in training to become a chef.
Come on now, right? So we start at the coming, and then in the classic brigade, we have different stations. So as we know, the kitchen is broken down into four main areas. Everything now falls under that. So the four areas, let me just share them quickly, just for knowledge and information. We have the range, that's the hot galley or the hot area. We have the pantry, right? And the pantry is managed by the garmager, right? We have the pastry shop. The pastry shop is managed by the patissier. And then we have the butchery, and that area is managed by the butcher. Now, in the how the brigade was designed, right? And I dare say we're losing some of this here, colleagues, if you would agree with me. It was so designed that there should be no confusion in the kitchen, right? It's Chef Traby, I commend you, and as well Chef Virgo, because I've seen for myself that you maintain in setting your brigades a certain way where you cross-train and individuals are seen based on their strength and are placed in certain places. Now, if you look at this brigade that I'm sharing here, right, we'll have our pâtissier or tournant. Some of these titles, we don't use them locally, but like on the cruise line, you will use some of these, or other bigger hotels overseas, you use some of these titles, right? You have your tournants, you have the garmager, the punch guy, the legumer, the pâtissier, the rôtisseur, the fritteur, the grillardin, the saucier, and then you go up to your chef de partie, which is the second level of training for us here, right? Mrs. Beckett, from the heart, NSTHO standpoint, right?
Right.
After
That's when they're when you reach level 3, becoming the chef de partie.
all right. And it said that this is the first level of supervision, correct?
Right. First level of supervision.
Beautiful. Because this stage you are exposed to conflict management, fundamental food costing and
Right.
stuff like that.
Creating your rosters, dealing with conflict, how to deal with your conflict, how to prepare your roster, how to develop a kitchen, the right format for a kitchen, the right layout for a kitchen. You break down into those aspects.
Good stuff,
But
right? And
like,
go ahead, Chef Slavy. As I say, we're speaking together now. We're coming to the end
no, I
here.
just want to ask a question on that topic as relates to Chef de Partie. What Miss Beckett would provide is the basic knowledge, but of course, once you start to reach that level, just like when they're going up the ranks, person has to develop and get the experience with that.
Yes.
So because what this is a theoretical part of becoming a supervisor, but of course the practical part might take even a longer time.
Yes.
So I just want one that is listening, everybody's listening, just to understand. It's not just that you're gonna do this and feel like you can just go into an establishment and feel like you can
Become
just
a chef de partie. No,
exactly.
it needs
So I just want
experience.
exactly.
Yes.
So I just wanted to get that out there.
Yes, definitely. Thank you,
And
Chef.
and Chef Brown, to add to Mr. Swaby, we also recommend that while they are in training to become a chef de partie, it is best that they are employed even part-time, if it's even on the weekends and the evening, so that they can build their knowledge base and their skill set, so that by the time they're finished, they're still in the continuous process, because you can't be a supervisor over an 8 months training. You're just here to learn the theory knowledge and gain the practical knowledge, but the experience is needed along the way.
Right.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Chef Virgo, I see you there. You want to say something, Chef? Go right ahead.
Yeah, I'm just want to piggyback what Chef Swaby mentioned just now with regards to CDPs or chef de parties coming in straight from institution and just coming with a formal training, the theory per se. However, as you mentioned, that in the organization or the whatever operation it is, there are expectations, and if you're not experienced in that area, it's going to be a problem. All right. So the chef has his expectations, the company has its expectations also. So you coming in as a novice um, will will create a little bit of issue. I mean, with you not being ready. So coming from the institution is one thing. Coming in the operation is another thing. So it's best when you are trained both the theory and the practical aspects of the profession itself. I mean, the responsibility of a CDP is can be very rigorous at times because you lead the line. There are a lot of responsibilities. I mean, that comes on your belt. Food safety for one, training the team for two, supporting the sous chef. In all aspects, menu, everything. Creating rosters. You know, you're training or you're getting ready for the next step, and it comes with a lot of responsibility, and it can be very, very I mean, pressuring if you're not ready in that area. So yes, Chef Shwebi, I'm happy that you mentioned that just now.
Right. But I also want to say as well, I think there's twofold to it, right, Miss Beckett, where I think where this came in, this it's also is for persons who are in the industry for a while and want to get certified. So, for example, person who might be promoted but is not certified can also do this course and get certified. So with this, they have the theoretical background, and of course they would have the practical background by working in the industry or in the restaurant whatever for a while. The question is though, do you find a lot of persons applying for this? I mean persons that would be working in the field for a while and
Yes, we
maybe get
do. We do.
okay.
Like presently now, we have we always have an evening program that runs from 5 to 8 o'clock. So you have a lot of persons in the group that they're in the industry for years, but they want to move on to another level or they want to
Okay.
move up in their organization. So they come in to be certified. A lot,
Right.
what we find out with those persons though, they have an ego. Their ego level is very high.
Hi. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And
Yes.
then some things that is not of quality standard according to the curriculum coming from their organization, the way that they normally do it. Sometimes it's a challenge because they're saying, I've been doing it for this way for a long time.
Time. Yeah.
I do not, like they do not want to change, but you have to sit with them sometime and let them know that, listen, everything, the curriculum for the high program is written by a particular standard. So you're expected to take a little time to change, but you're going to have to move with changes so that you can be that professional chef at the end of training. But we do
Right.
take
Right.
on, and we are looking a different way forward now, where we are going to try to say, okay, listen, you coming from the industry, you have the expertise, you have the theory. If you want to come and show us your portfolio that you have to prove that, yes, you can do it, we can actually certify you by giving the test to do, and you do the practical, and you don't have to sit in the classroom for an entire year.
Yeah.
So that's the way we are trying to go, probably come the next year or two.
Okay.
Yes.
Well
Well,
said, Chef. Well,
well,
well
Mr.
said.
Brown,
Yeah. Yes,
hopefully
yes,
from
go ahead, man.
this
Go ahead.
after this podcast, Miss Beckett will have a lot of additional.
That's the intention, Chef. That's the
Yeah.
intention. We
All
are
right.
we're passionate about our country. This is not about a
Yes,
one
that's
person
true.
or a two person. It's about this is our Jamaica, and I dare say this as someone who would have traveled, foreign. All of us, we know the skill set that is available here. And one of the challenge that we face, and it came out so many times, even just now, Ms. Beckett shared, there is this thing about ego and the lack of humility, right? The reality is that, as you just made, you said, Ms. Beckett, the standard is the standard. And I think sometimes, you know, that's where sometimes we falter, where we seem to think that we know what the standard is, right? But when you really get into a space where the standard is being taught the proper way, you realize, no, but boy, I may really never have the standard, you know. So the question now, Ms. Beckett, is, you know, what do I do, right? I've been working, and this is the reality, you know, because we have been out there, you know, most of us here have been in industry over 2 decades, right? We have been out there, we have seen it, we have heard the stories, right? Where there are spaces where persons work where they do things a particular way, and it does not align with the standard operating procedures for what culinary is. And
Yeah,
like you said,
that's true,
go ahead.
true, Chef. I may chime in here because what I find out is that you have, well, persons who say, once they can cook, they call themselves a chef, and they're not humble enough to follow, you know, procedures. For example, you know that you're cooking, all chefs, they are cooking, and you know, for example, you do not put too much salt or you do not put too much pepper. You allow your guests to put whatever, you know, the amount they want. But we find that a lot of persons, when they do cook, they say, well, you know, the curry goat must taste a whole lot of pepper. You know, but then you see the correct procedure. They don't want to follow the correct procedure because this is how they were taught, and they are following this, and people love what they do, they love their food, and they say, yes, he's a good chef around there, you know. And cook the curry goat well and cook the managed water well and so on. So, Ms. Beckett, I'm happy that you're having, you know, the opening where persons in the industry, and if they are not humble enough to want to come and they are eager enough to, you know, for hungry for learning, to say that, let me come and learn the correct procedure. That is what we want, because if we don't do that, we will lose them in this time.
Right. True.
Right. Good stuff. Good stuff. I was typing something in the chat because persons are sharing their questions. So let me just share it. I put it in the chat nonetheless. Welcome to, just bear with me 1 second, colleagues. Welcome to everyone who is on the live. We have 23 persons now watching us on the live here. We are looking at, so this particular program is the Pro Chef edition of Let's Talk Culinary. So right here on the channel, Healthy Gourmet Restaurant and Catering, you can find us on YouTube here. You follow us, right? Like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you know when we go live. We are looking at this particular program. It's called Let's Talk Culinary. And this series is called the Pro Chef Edition. And for this evening, this is the first episode or the first session where we're looking at the professional chef. So that's what we're discussing this evening. We're laying the platform and we're dissecting some of the positives, some of the negatives as relates to the professional chef. All right. So thank you, Tyrese Smith, for the question. Continue to share in the chat because we want to hear from you as well. Good stuff, right? So I don't think we're going to, definitely, colleagues, we're looking at a part 2 for this. It was expected, right? We are now, believe me, we are at 7:37. How fast the time is moving, right?
Oh.
And there's so much more for us to discuss, right? But I just want to share a few more here, and then we can seek to put a cap on it for this evening. I just want to echo again what was said by both chefs and Ms. Beckett, and by extension, Ms. Jerry, right? So this is what we're saying. As being certified as a chef de partie is not enough. It's not for you to know just to say, yes, I'm a chef and I have it. You need to now balance experience with that certification, right? Even if you're going, even if you would have done a degree program, I'm putting that in the mix just the same, right? If you have done a degree program, just getting a degree and then going in the industry doesn't mean that you're at a certain level. You need to have the practical skill, right, to back that up, because as what Chef Virgo and Chef said just now, let me tell you, when you're on the range, Ms. Beckett, and a conflict arises, sometimes you don't even remember what was taught as to say, is this where you're supposed to deal with the conflict, right? Sometimes it's being in the situation, right? Experience teacheth wisdom, right? So you understand, say, I'm not going to pay this colleague any mind, because whenever the pressure comes, that's how they are. They get a little bit grumpy, right? These things are important, right? So that's the industry. Let's continue. There's some things I wanted to share here on the brigade here before we go. I'm not going to touch the sous chef and the chef de cuisine for this. We'll leave that for our next sitting, right? But there's something here I want to touch on within the other stations here. Being station chefs, and this is now for, I would say, everyone who wishes to own a restaurant, open anything where you're going to deal with food, right? And you're going to want to have a brigade, right? It is very important that you do cross training. Now, chefs, I want to chime in on this one and share with me here. It is of utmost important that we do cross training, right? No individual should just come in industry and say, boy, this is all I am going to do, right? Even if you're a patissier where you're doing pastry, it's okay to do cross training. And cross training doesn't necessarily mean that you go on the line, the hot range, or you go in the pantry, or you go in the butcher shop. There are other areas, there are soft skills. And sometimes we overlook this area, Miss Beckett, right? There are soft skills that you need to learn. So as a person, the pastry shop, you can say to the chef, Chef, I want to understand how you deal with conflict situation. I want to understand how is it that you deal with costing and some of these things. And the chef now will be more than willing to assist you, right? So cross-training, knowledge is power. That's the fundamental statement for the Heart in Estate Trust, right? So chefs, how important is cross-training for you and your operation?
All right.
All right, all right, go, chef. Go ahead.
All right. I think both of us jump at it
Yes,
Yeah,
man.
because
important.
we know the importance, because every chef want to know that they have a well-rounded kitchen. What makes a chef more happy, more than to, whatever it comes down to vacation, sick days, or whatever the case may be, he can always move around persons. So the question is, how important is that? Trust me, that's what make or break a kitchen. Because and that's one of the first thing, I mean, a chef want to do whenever he comes into operation. He wants to ensure that his kitchen is well rounded. There's a number of ways we can go about that. For me personally, sometimes I move around persons without them even realizing. And when they find themselves into it, that's the time they really realize. So
Yeah, good at that, chef. It's true.
so yes, it is of utmost important, and of course not only for the operation but also for them as an individual. That's sometimes when they even leave and go other places, that is when they will call and say, by talking to you, they say, Chef, why I'm happy that you gave me a chance to go in the pastry shop, because when I go on the ship, this is where the chef would have put me. Not sometimes you go into a new job, and maybe what you actually apply for is not what you end up receive when you reach. But at the same time, if that you have a basic knowledge about it, they give you a chance now to to help yourself and to you know, you'll be able to manage and even become that pastry chef. So I've seen this before. I remember sometime in September when we were moving around stuff. There was one guy who came there as a bartender, and he ended up in the kitchen. He actually ended up on the range with me and the lunch shift. And one day they had an issue in the pastry shop where I think there was a staff never show up or something, and there was some sick something around that, and he end up in the pastry shop, and that guy become one of the best pastry chef
Look at that.
except away. I tell you, and right now he's overseas, and that is what he's doing too as well. So these are some of the stories. But of course, just to answer your question,
Yeah.
it is every
Most
chef
important.
dream,
Yeah.
to have his kitchen rounded.
I'm bringing in Chef Virgo, but as you shared, I just gonna drop this quick one here. Chef Virgo, you're prepared yourself. I remember you just shared that one. I was working at a particular hotel in Kingston, and it was my first time now was going on the cruise line, and the sous chef there at the time always want us to cross train and go between different shifts. And I'm sharing this because this is the reality for some persons. No, at that time I was working the a la carte. And Miss Beckett, I didn't want to go on the morning shift to do no breakfast shift and make no omelette, right? And the chef would come, chef, some rotation. I said, chef, boy, I'm okay. Now I've been got the opportunity to go on the cruise line. So I've been always been running away from doing the omelets and the breakfast shift chefs, right? So this is me now reaching on the cruise line. And I stepped to the chef's office. It was Celebrity Cruise Line. I'll never forget it. The chef gave me three things. He gave me a thermometer, he gave me a Victorinox paring knife, and he gave me a little sheet, they call it USPA sheet. And he said to me, Chef, you're on the breakfast shift in the morning. I mean, it was so profound because this is me. I've always run away from doing this particular shift. And here it is where I'm now way out on the high seas. I can't tell the chef no, right? And I found myself, Chef Virgo, breakfast shift, right? The omelets I was running away from. I find myself now that this is what I'm into. I know at a high level where I'm doing hundreds of omelets now. So I'm just saying to anyone who is on the platform, who is listening, that don't run away from cross training, right? It's gonna help you in the long run way more than you can even think or imagine. Chef Virgo, go right ahead.
Yeah, guys. Yeah, chefs. You mentioned a lot so far. I will just reiterate a few things. But I want to give my testimony also because now we're doing this, right? So we're gonna do it.
That's why we're here.
Um, so I remember back in the day, back in the days when I was, I think I was at the Hilton then. Um, Started out growing passionate, So you know what, you want to learn everything, and then I realized that that's a culture there. You know, I'm paying homage to the Hilton Kingston Hotel. Yes,
Come
yeah.
on.
Trust me, college man, college bro. Trust me. So I remember one time I was there and we eager to learn. We're so eager. Trust me, the passion up on another level, right? So going in and every day you're trying to learn here, there, everywhere. Sometimes your station is not busy. You take the initiative to go on another station. For example, you leave from the range to the pantry to learn the salads, the dressings, the cold kitchen aspects, and learning all that. After a while, is like when you come work, it's like a shift change. You're not on a set shift anymore. To the work in the range, or to the your schedule for the range for probably 2 hours. Then the next you're gonna go to the buffet. You're gonna go to the pantry, and then close out the night. Now the chef will pull you also to put you at the fine dining. And I was saying to him, like, chef, why can't I get a set shift? Because up and down, back and forth every day with different stations. It becomes annoying.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he's saying to me, say, yo, listen, me man, as a relief chef, trust me, this is gonna do great stuff for you.
Right.
Yes.
You're on your way. You know, So for persons out there right now who might be reluctant to taking on challenges, nothing is wrong with it. It only can do great things for you. You know. Also, if the chef asks you to or direct you to work another station, don't hesitate. Because trust me, sooner or later you realize how strong you are, how developed you are, how rounded you are. So with chefs way mentioning all of that, you know, great stuff. It's essential. It's very much essential for every chef, you know, to be rounded, to develop their team also in different areas. Even where I'm at right now, I always encourage individuals to work different stations.
Right.
Not just for me to schedule them to work that area, but also for them to take initiative, and that's another thing that needs to be developed in as a chef. You also should be able to initiate tasks. And so these kind of attributes definitely it steers you into the position of becoming the top man at one point, in your career. So yes, it's about readiness. So yes, chef, very essential that the team is
Right.
rounded.
Right.
All right.
Beautiful. Thank you all. So we're bringing home now, Miss Becky, I'm going to give the platform for you to share. We always finish on this note. Share your final encouragement. Tell persons again, where they can find you. I know you're all about training there at Boulevard. I just want you to just echo something out to those and so in social media land and just to give encouragement to somebody on the platform this evening. Ms. Beckett, go
All
ahead.
right. So thank you again. And I must say, welcome. It's an industry that persons have interest in, but not just the interest you should have, but you should have the motivation and the initiative to go out there and be certified. So yes, you can cook, you can bake, but the most important part to be a professional chef is to be certified. And once you start certification, you must continue with further upgrading so that one day you can be an executive chef. So welcome to Boulevard. You can come in anytime. We're open to you. Good advertisement, Monday to Thursday, 9 until 9. We're here. At this moment, I'm still at work. 9 until 9, we're here to facilitate the persons that do work. So we have that. And we have online and face-to-face to facilitate persons that can't come in. So you can come into Washington Boulevard and you can always ask for Miss Beckett, because without a skill, we don't have any power.
Right.
Beautiful. Give them the address, Ms. Beckett. Give the address, please.
Washington Boulevard, Boulevard Baptist Church to Washington Boulevard. And the office is
Beautiful.
always open. The church office is always open, but skills training is here Monday to Thursday.
Beautiful. And I'm going to say this. I'm going to add this to what you have said, Miss Beckett, to anchor it. When you take on the task, you would have made a network with not just Miss Beckett, but all of us here and many others. I leave it at that.
That's true.
Right? I leave it at that. Mr. Jerry, I want to give you the platform I'm going to give you a good 3 minutes because we are in competition mode, and I would do injustice if I didn't allow you to just share the dates for the upcoming competition and just share again about the culinary challenge quiz. Mr. Jerry, go right ahead.
All right. Thank you, Chef. Thanks for the opportunity again. So for this year, 2025, we are having our 4 regional culinary arts competition. The first one will be on April 9th. That is the Western Regional Show. Will be in Westmoreland, Sean Lavery Faith Hall. The second one is on April 16th, and it's at the Kendall Campsite and Conference Center in Manchester. Then we go over to the Northern region, the Anglican Church Hall in Port Maria, that's in St. Mary. And then we put the cap on for Kingston and we have it in Kingston and St. Andrew for the Eastern region by the Ronnie Williams Entertainment Center. Now, persons, we're still open. The award force platform is still open until the 25th of this month when we close our entry. I want you to go onto the JCDC website, and that is www.jcdc.gov.jm. You're going to click on the menu bar. You're going to look for competition. You go down to culinary and you find the handbook. Then you're going to read through and you will understand what it is that we are offering this year. The feature item that we're using is carrot. Now, over the past years, we are using items that are underutilized. So persons know of carrot cake or carrot muffin, or you make a carrot juice or carrot punch. That's it. So we want persons to step outside the box, come up with creative ideas, dishes. Let us see what you can put in front of the judges on the day of the competition. So for this year also, we are featuring 2 new categories. The Cupcake and Cookie Challenge, and that's for the kids. It started age 9 to 14, and it's not just a simple cupcake and cookie. You have to embrace our national symbols on these cupcakes and cookie. So you're gonna do one on the cupcake and one on the cookie. So when you read the handbook, you will understand how many you need to do and what time you get to finish the task in front of the judges. It will be done live. That's just one cookie, one cupcake you have to do live, or the others you'll have to do and take them. The other new category is a street food JA. And I thought about the man out there cooking a soup or maybe, the jerk chicken neck or whatever it is that they are doing out there. Again, they need to look at the handbook and see the criteria for the street food JA. See what we're asking for. And you are going to come with your A game, know how you serve, because I don't expect persons doing, for example, soup, to pour it in a soup cup and take that to the judges. Oh no, that will not be acceptable. So we will not accept that. So you're going to research what it is that you need to serve in, how you serve. It's a competition. Remember, it's a competition. It's an amateur competition, but we have to lift it to the next level. All right, so those are the 2 new categories. But on the day, for the past 2 years, I have been bringing back, our traditional games and allowing the millennials to understand where we are coming from, how we used to play our jacks and then the marble. You look at the Scrabble or the dominoes. We have those, so on the day we'll have those. But also this year we are having culinary challenge quiz. So there are certain questions that I did send out to interested schools for them to go ahead and study. Now, they may get other questions. So the CSEC group, from grades 10, 11, 12, 13, and some from the Heart Institution, they can also enter because it will be local questions, regional questions, and international questions. So it will help the CSEC students when they go to sit their exams. They will see questions on the paper that they would have studied for the competition. So I want persons to come on, for the quiz, you don't have to submit an entry. It's an additional feature for the day. So you will not know your opponent until the day when you get there at the competition zone. So come, let's have fun. Winners will get their trophies, medals up for grabs. And we're trying to see how best we can get other tangible items, gift items for you. But come, let us have fun. Let us learn together. And the first one, as I said, will be on the 9th of April. That's in Westmoreland. The second one is on the 16th of April, Manchester Kendall Campsite. The third one is in St. Mary, the Anglican Church Hall. And the last one will be at the Ronnie Williams Entertainment Center for the Eastern region, and that's in Kingston. So looking forward to see you all, and I'm sure I have two of my esteemed adjudicators with me, and I know Miss Beckett would have her students entering, and I'm looking forward for a lot from Boulevard because they're always bringing some very interesting creation come to the competition.
Right. Thank you. Thank you so much,
I
Mr.
must say, Mr. Brown,
ahead.
from where I sit here,
Yes,
sound really exciting.
it
I
does.
must tell you. Yeah,
You got that name, man.
yeah, man, the seafood, no, the street food JA,
Triple JA.
and that the food challenge quiz.
Yes, man.
Miss Jerry, I must tell you, those is gonna be a hit.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you, Chef.
Yeah.
Working hard at
And
it. I mean, the first year for the quiz and the other two. So let's see. You see what I want. I want the street food person. Don't be intimidated. Come
no,
because I'm not even asking them to write a recipe. I want them
exactly.
to come. I want them to come and show what they can do. So bring a cold pot. If you want to
Exactly. I
work
was
with
just about to say
Come
that,
on
street
Miss
food,
now.
Jerry.
yes. If
Come
you
I
on
was
want to
now.
just
come
about
Yes,
to
work
say
with
man.
that.
some
Yeah.
stone and your wood and you catch up the fire, show
Exactly.
the millennials what
Mm,
it is. Catch up the firewood.
mm.
Get your push cart, put your stove in there, your coal pot, and let us see what street food it's like. Because a lot of these millennials, they don't know what street food is all about.
But thus, must just remember that it is a competition. So come
Yes,
with the A game.
it's a
Mm,
competition, yes. Because you will
right.
be judged. You'll be judged.
Mm.
We want to give away the medals, but you have to earn it. Yeah.
Yes, after earn it.
All right. Thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you so much, Miss Jerry. Much more will be shared and that. Chef Strebe, I'll let you anchor. Chef Virgo, your final
Yes.
words, any encouragement to our upcoming culinarians, the chefs out there? Just share your final words, your final thoughts, and some encouragement on the platform.
All right, so to each and everyone out there listening, the young generation, upcoming chefs, aspiring chefs, I mean, there's no limit. There's no limit to culinary. So don't box yourself in, right? Dream big, aspire to another level, always, you know, um, just practice the right principles, maintain that mindset, a positive mindset, be humble, at the same time, be confident,
Right.
right? And keep an open mind for constructive criticism, which will only guide you to do better as individuals. And of course, all the best, you know, um, as a journey, all the best. That's it from me.
Thank you,
Right.
Chef. Chef
Cool.
Swaby, same for
Yes.
you. Your final word, your encouragement to everyone who is out there.
Right. My thing, the attitude, right? Attitude. So it just add on what Chef Virgo would have said a while ago. The right attitude is what one has to, possess. Uh, there is so much. Both of us will talk about this all the time, Mr. Brown, about
Yep.
what the field have to offer. There's so much things available now. I know Miss Jerry, just recently she was looking an assistant, right, Miss Jerry? And that person
Definitely.
do have to have some culinary background. So Mr. Brown himself is a living testimony. This man wears so many hats. He's he's an executive chef. He's a instructor. So what I'm trying to say as what Miss Chef Virgo, don't put yourself in a box. There's so much things out there, and the persons just have to get involved. Um, and being involved is meaning that you don't limit yourself. So as young culinarians, um, just stay and keep in the right company, right, and the right zone. And that most time that is how you will get recognized. All right. Thank you again, Mr. Brown, for this medium. So so that we can share. And this is what we do. As I said before, there is a wealth of knowledge that is on this platform right now.
Yeah.
And if each time we can share like this, it is endless. Thank you again.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Chef. That's why we're here. This I will share as we close that this is something that has been in the making for quite a while. Chef Swabe, myself, and a few others. We it's not just what is being executed here now is something that has been in the planning for a long time. And the Lord would also blessed us that we are now able to be on the platform in this fashion where we can take this not just to Jamaica but to the entire world. And Chef, for that, I'm really humbled, and I want to say in a big way, thanks to each of you this evening, Chef Swaby, Chef Virgo, my brother, Beckett, thank you for being here. I mean, you would have shared so much. Miss Jerry, as usual, thank you for being on the platform. Just want to remind everyone who is watching, remember to, the only thing we ask of you, so there's one thing we ask of you here now. Like, share, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell. Let someone else get the knowledge and the information that you are getting, right? Because that's what we want to do. We are we are maturing. I'm going to use that word, right, colleagues? And so we need to ensure that we pass on the knowledge to those who will take the baton from us, right? For me, one of my fundamental, I don't want to say much about guiding principles that just if you live through life and all you do is just to make money and build house and get car and just boast about yourself, I believe that you haven't fulfilled your purpose, right? Touching the hearts and minds of others that's what it's all about, right? And collectively
Mm.
here, that's what we want to do, right? Each of us here on the platform, if you would have realized, we represent different bodies, right? Miss Beckett come and she carries the entire arm of the heart in his DHS. Chef Virgo is carrying his hotel, plus he's carrying all of his experience. Chef Swaby is the same thing. Mrs. Jane Jerry is carrying all of JCDC. Yours truly, I carry a little stuff, all right? Right. So we'll leave it at that. All right. But yeah, man, it's a pleasure to be here, right? I just want to say thank you again to everyone. We will be having a follow-up to this because if you notice, we stopped short of looking at the title of the sous chef. We stopped at Chef the Party, and I definitely want us to touch on the column. We call the sous chef the column in the kitchen, right? These guys are next level, right? These are the beasts. So we want to touch on that because a lot of persons these days saying, "Oh, I'm sous chef." If only you know what it means to be a sous chef. And again, this is not about bashing anyone. We are here to speak the truth and speak it in love so that our country can grow and we can have the best culinary professional there is. I feel my bones when I say that. So next time when you see us, that's where we're going to pick up from. We're going to look at those more senior titles now. We're going to dissect them, look at the do's and the don'ts. So from us here on the platform, Let's Talk Culinary. Again, also this is the Pro Chef edition, and we're looking at the professional chef. This is where we put the cap on for this evening. Thank you all for being. We still have 18 persons watching us on the live. The chat the chat was active, right? And this link will be there for you can share with others so they can participate in the discussion as well. Again, Once you can share your comments in the chat, any question you pose, if you want us to discuss a particular topic, you can post it and we will look at those topics because we don't have all the answers, all right? So you can post your topics as well. So this is where we anchor for this evening. Thank you to everyone who stayed the course with us. Thank you again to all of us here on the panel, right? Panelists, don't go anywhere. I'm going to end the stream. Just stay with me for a little bit on the Zoom platform, right? So this is where we say goodbye to our live stream for this evening. God bless you all and stay tuned. Again, to know when we go live, you have to subscribe to the channel so you're going to miss something, all right? Blessings to you all. This is where we end live stream for this evening.